Hey guys, it is WaitingSpy, and now that Christmas is over, I'm going to be focusing on my YouTube channel for a while, and you know what that means. It's time for some more bad anime content. As promised in the last video, I'm going to be doing my first full review of a show today, so get ready for today's episode of Anime Review. So, first of all, and most importantly, the anime that I'm reviewing today is Black Clover. This is probably my favourite anime right now, maybe until the next season of My Hero comes out, which, by the way, I am super hyped for. Now, I know that Black Clover has never been the most popular show. A lot of people dropped it after the first couple of episodes simply due to Asta's voice. But nevertheless, I love this anime, and it's become so much better since the beginning. However, before I start the review, I have a couple of important things to say. First of all, this video will most likely contain a few spoilers for Black Clover up to episode 157, but if you've already watched it, or you simply don't mind spoilers, then feel free to stay. Also, since this is my first anime review, I'll give you guys a quick run over of how I will be ranking the shows. The ranking is split into 5 categories: plot, characters, opening, animation, and enjoyability. I'll be giving each of these categories a score out of 10, and at the end of the video, we'll have a score out of 50. I'm also going to be putting all of the shows that I review into a massive tier list. The rank requirement should be on screen right about now. As you can see, only the best of the best are going to be put in S tier, and I'm eventually expecting the likes of Attack on Titan and One Punch Man to end up in there. As well as this, I'll also be giving out little sub awards for each anime, such as Best Character, Saddest Death Scene, Best Opening, stuff like that. So now that we've got all of the technical stuff out of the way, I'm just about ready to start the review. So without further ado, let's go and do the stuff you all came here to see. First of all, let's talk about the plot. I've decided to give Black Clover a 9 out of 10 on the plot score. Yes, while I'll admit the first 15 episodes are a pain to get through, why do you think I only gave it a 9 out of 10? It's a 10th of the show, so I deducted a 10th of the points. The plot of Black Clover is a simple principle. In a world where everybody can use magic, there was a boy who was born without any magic. This boy had one clear goal set in his mind: to become the Wizard King, the most powerful and skilled mage in the Clover Kingdom. He trained relentlessly every single day, and when he turned 15, he attended a ceremony where everyone would be given their own grimoire, a magical book containing spells suited to each individual magic user. But of course, no grimoire came to Asta as he had no magic. It was when he discovered that he actually had no magic that a grimoire finally came to him. A grimoire that granted him the complete opposite of what he had been longing for all this time: the power of anti-magic. With his new power, his insanely strong body, and by sheer power of will, he was able to join the Magic Knights, an organization that protects the citizens of the kingdom. Throughout the rest of the series, Asta has continued to train his body and his powers, as well as fight countless powerful enemies and gaining the merit and trust of the kingdom. In my honest opinion, this anime is like My Hero Academia done right. And the great thing about it never slows down. Yeah, so they had a fight against a bad CGI Crystal Man at the start, but at least it wasn't 10 episodes long. And the peak of the story so far has been the Elves Arc. And I'm not talking about when they were first introduced, I'm talking about when they start a literal war. Those 34 episodes were some of the best I've ever seen. And given all the build-up and hype that the next arc is getting, I don't expect it to slow down anytime soon. Next, let's take a look at the characters and their score of 7. At the start of the show, the majority of the characters seem to be defined by one trait. Luck likes to fight, Charmy eats food, Klaus has glasses, Vanessa has a massive drinking problem, and Finral is a simp. And to be honest, this is what it was like for a lot of the show. But one by one, the characters slowly got development, and their defining trait was no longer defining. Gordon found his voice, Finral slowly became more powerful and learned to use his power more effectively, and probably most importantly, Noelle stopped seeming like a spoiled princess and actually became one of the most important assets to the Black Bulls. And even before this development, I still couldn't help but love the characters. And another thing that gave them a high score is that there's so many of them, and I only really dislike 2 of them. They just keep introducing new characters, and they're all so great. So while I'll admit that they weren't the best at the start, they've really become something else since then. Also, remember those little sub-awards that I mentioned at the start? Well, guess what time it is? The award for Best Character this time is going to Miria Leona. Now, over the years, it's become a lot more common in anime to have female characters who are insanely powerful, but Miria Leona really goes above and beyond. Her strength is insane, and I really love how her character is centered around being merciless and just all around crazy. What makes her great is that she really differs from all the other royals in this series, which, now that I think about it, might be why Noelle is also so great. Other than the Wizard King himself, Miria Leona is probably the strongest character right now. And since the Wizard King is mostly out of the picture now anyway, I think she could be a great candidate for the Wizard Queen. She's completely original and like no other character I've ever seen, and that's why she's so amazing. And now, it's time for one of the main strengths of Black Clover, the openings. And it's really setting the bar high, because I'm giving Black Clover a perfect 10 out of 10 for openings. People really wonder why the animation in the main show is so bad when they're clearly spending a large amount of the budget on the openings. The animation in the openings is often a lot better than it is in the rest of the show, which is kind of worrying, but I can't even be mad when they're creating masterpieces like this 4 times a year. Now, even without this amazing animation, the main thing that makes the majority of these openings so great is the music. Without fail, they pick a great song to use every single time, and they manage to make it work. They're perfect for the arc that they are made for, and while most shows have an amazing opening once in a while, Black Clover does it consistently. Honestly, I think if I was asked to rank these openings, I'd have trouble putting any openings near the bottom. But now, it's time for Black Clover's great downfall. For the animation, I'm giving Black Clover a disappointing 5 out of 10. Now, don't get me wrong, the animation hasn't always been bad, but normally it's either amazing or just kinda trash, and it really varies from episode to episode. So while it's not all terrible, there's no consistency. And for the most part, I don't really care all that much. I don't usually let it take away from the experience of the anime, but it just wouldn't be true if I gave it a high score. In my opinion, scenes are so much more impactful when the animation is good. For example, let's look at the second My Hero Academia movie. Honestly, I'm still pretty confused as to what the plot of that movie was, but when I was sitting there watching it with Killer Quaz, who you should subscribe to by the way, link in the description, we were both in awe at the animation of the fight scene at the end. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about My Hero Academia, but you get the point. If I'm being honest, I've noticed a decrease in episodes with actually good animation lately. Yes, the episodes are still amazing, but they're not as good as they could be. From my understanding, they're saving their budget for the next arc, which is looking like it's going to be amazing. But until then, I don't feel right giving it a higher score. And now, it's time for probably the most important part of any anime experience. The enjoyability. When I finally started getting back into anime in May this year, I wondered why I ever stopped watching it. I was able to finish the last 2 seasons of My Hero Academia in a week and a half. But after I finished it, I just wanted more of it. I tried so many series to see if there was another one that meets my needs. But Mob Psycho 100, Blend S, Dr. Stone, Naruto, Haikyuu, and even JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, though I enjoyed them all thoroughly, just weren't what I was looking for. And that's when I found it. Black Clover is similar to My Hero Academia in so many ways, the main one being the whole underdog plot of the story. But what's crazy is, as well as My Hero Academia executes the underdog story, Black Clover does it better. And the reason behind that is Asta. Unlike Deku, who trained for 10 months specifically just so he could receive his quirk from All Might, Asta trained for years and tried his best to bring out his magical powers that he was blissfully unaware just didn't exist. He was uncertain if he would even see results, which he thankfully did, but he still kept going every single day and he never gave up. And unlike Deku, he didn't have access to Hatsume to improve his costume and reduce the damage that his power did to his body. And Asta's power does do damage, by the way. The pain that he feels when he uses it is crazy, and while that's obviously not permanent, neither is Deku's, because he had Recovery Girl to heal his broken bones. When Asta broke his arms, the only reason someone agreed to heal him was because she wanted to use him. But against all odds, he still manages to win every time. It gives me so much satisfaction to see Asta completely subvert everyone's expectations, and for that reason, I'm giving Black Clover a 9 out of 10 on the enjoyment scale. And with that, Black Clover scores a respectable 40 out of 50. Looks like we're starting this series off with a solid A tier anime. And when I tell you that I've really enjoyed looking back at all the old episodes and rewatching the openings over and over just for the purpose of this video, I really mean it. And if you guys have also enjoyed this video, then why not leave a like and subscribe? Also, if you have any suggestions for another anime that I should review on this channel, then you can let me know in the comments. I already have a One Punch Man video planned, so expect that at some point. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.